welcome to Pleasure Container with Jem and Jess. We are two best friends on a healing journey. Over our 2 decades of friendship, we have created a safe space to process our heartbreaking confusion of growing up in a harm-filled world while transforming these feelings into lessons we receive joy from. Our friendship has been a pillar in our healing journeys and ultimately is a gift we want to share with the world.
Hi, I'm Jem, a self-love coach, escort, doula trainer, and singer. That's me in the theme song. Hey! Get comfy, roll up a joint, nourish your body, and unwind with us as we share our unfiltered process, wiggling our way through this goof nugget called life. Remember, shame is a tool of the oppressor, community heals, and pleasure shows the way.
My love language is funfetti, camping and emojis, finger tats, guacamole.
It's been hard for me a little bit because as a yoga teacher too, there's kind of this like, you help the students, you don't show, like, you know, but maybe it would be so helpful for me to just not worry about that and for me to take up the space. And when people ask, like, give them the full picture if they're asking me. Otherwise, why are they asking? It's been, that'll be really, I'm so glad we're having this conversation because that is what I need to take from nannying, the like pure just authenticity of it, just like the real feelings, the real emotions, the sharing of it. Like, oh man, today was a really hard day. Declan shat himself on purpose 3 times. Like,
Declan,
my baby! I love
Declan.
I've loved all my kids really dearly. I had 3 like main families, and all those kids I'll just treasure forever.
You have that special
Not to be rude
ring.
to like the first and second family that I wasn't with for that long. Great families, but like those kids don't stay in my heart the same way.
Yeah. No, I know. I'll never forget the baby that I nannied for in New York. I feel weird saying her name because I feel like her mom wouldn't want me to. But like, I will never forget her. I carried her picture around in my wallet for the first maybe 5 or 6 years here. Like, and just would take it out and just look at it. Yeah, for the first few years in Berlin, I had pictures of her framed all around the apartment. She was the only person I had pictures of. It was just pictures of me and her. Yeah.
Nannying is such a special job.
It's so special. And you know, something that is just coming to me kind of, it's like tingling in my breast as we're talking about this. It's like, that's kind of, the magic of having a container with a child that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. I think, and this is me talking very boldly here, but I feel like you probably will relate, I would guess. I think that parents are so trained to not take breaks that they miss out on the opportunity to go away from their kids regularly and recharge on their own so that they can then come back to the kids in full power and force. Like, we need time and space from people we love, even our kids, especially our kids.
Especially our kids.
It's normal and healthy to have breaks from them. And I feel like as nannies, we kind of get that experience where, like, it's just us and that baby. Like, I would always be off my phone. I would never be on my phone on a shift. So much that, like, even sometimes her mom would text me, like, hey, coming home 10 minutes later. Hey, can you blah, blah, blah. And I, like, she'd get home and be like, did you get my text? And I'd be like, oh, no, because I literally, like, wanted to be offline always when I was with her. Because to me, that was the devotional task, is, like, I am being paid to experience utter presence with your daughter. And I do feel like parents could probably contain their time with kids a little bit more, in a little bit maybe more of a generous way towards themselves and allowing more solitude for themselves. And I feel like it could really benefit and heal a lot of like the pain of parenting. Like just taking breaks.
Yeah. I think something, a tool that is really helpful too, one of the things that that I've learned from other parents and experienced as a caretaker is one of those things that's really hard as a caretaker is the constant noise and the constant just moving of everything. So one of the things that can be hard is there's a lot of opinions out there of what parenting should look like and what full presence should look like and what good caretaking looks like. But the truth is, it is going to be very different for every separate family depending on what their needs are, what their chemistry is, what they're doing in their lives, what their routine is. And so whatever is working for each family, that is beautiful. Just let it work. So what if your kid needs to watch an hour and a half of TV because they're not taking their naps, but they need to calm their body down, otherwise they're going to go fucking ballistic at the strike of 5 o'clock. You know?
Yes.
Who gives a shit? Like, don't enjoy the time. Don't make it so hard on yourself. Some of these things that are like, your kid should be doing this by this age and this by this age. Kids don't actually all, like...
No.
grow according to these scales that have been put out by doctors that weren't like very well researched from all the different angles. There's just so much pressure out there that I think you just gotta find what works for you. One of my friends, she's very sensory sensitive. So what she would do is she would put headphones on a lot of the time when she was around the kid or when the baby was crying.
Love that.
Love it.
Love that.
Love it. So I think, like, when it comes back to taking breaks as a parent, taking breaks is going to look like so many different things. It might look like laying on the couch and letting your baby flip their body in circles around you all over as you just continue to lay there. It might
horizontal
look like,
parenting.
Yeah, it might look like putting headphones on and not being able to hear them unless they, like, tug at your leg and you take a headphone off for a little bit. It might look like there's a lot of different things that it could look like, and I don't think anyone that is in the position of taking care of a full-ass human that is literally on a mission to kill themselves should... It's like the job of the caretaker to keep the thing alive, and the thing is like, I'm doing everything I can to not be alive. Oh, ta-da! Like that is really, it's a difficult job, and as much as we'd like to think that it does get easier, like, it just comes in waves. It's like when you talk about, like, you finally understand the child, you understand their abilities, you understand what's safe and what's not, and it's a really happy place, and everything's smooth sailing, and then, whoop, all of a sudden it's uncomfortable again because 3 days later little Jimmy's learned how to climb the stairs, and now you gotta, like, watch out for that. It's
constant contraction expansion. It's the birth process continuing in majorly slowing tempo. Not even slowing, but just in a different tempo, a changing, shifting tempo for the rest of your life. Like once those contractions start and that baby is there and that baby is born, like you're going to expand and contract, whether in grief over like the loss of the baby or in life and expression of the baby's life for the rest of your days.
Right. And that's why it's so taxing and why it's so important to be restful, and a lot of people expect, especially mothers, to be so, like, busy and, like, involved and doing this and doing that. You know what I love to see? I love to see a lazy mother. Lazy.
Yeah!
Be lazy as a mother. You're already doing so fucking much. But I love to see a mother that shows up, like...
Yep. Yeah,
honest,
that's also...
not wearing a fake smile, not pretending to be anything. It just feels better to be around. It feels better, and then you can actually hold space and connect.
Completely.
It's so fun and it's so sparkles and it's so all the zhuzhiness, but it's also damn hard work that just never fucking quits. So
Yeah.
it's okay to, it's almost like the complexity that we were talking about with like really hard like grieving situations in life. It's very similar to that. Having a child, having having it out of control, how you're going to be feeling. Like literally, as I hear people talking about their kids, like saying it's like a little piece of your heart walking around outside, and just having to deal with like you have no control over that little piece of your heart. You just
but this is kind of where
you're on a roller coaster for life.
Yes, but this is kind of where I'm like, that's why it's so important for me to always feel like I'm communicating that, like, oh, my light turned off. That you're like, if people say you're a bad parent if you like go and take a week and just travel, and like, they would say you're like abandoning your kid or abandoning your family. It's like, no, like we should be doing travel if we need travel, breaks if we need breaks, a weekend away if we need a weekend away, a retreat if we need a retreat. Like, the kid will survive, but like that peace of mind that you gain from leaving. And this is where I think polyamorous parenting is so genius, because, or it's one of the many reasons, like you can get used to your kid having their resources given by another adult, and you can get used to your kid having their questions answered by another adult. Things that you might have thought, oh, I'm going to answer this for them. You just find out through the grapevine that it's been answered. Like, there are things that like you can just trust in. And I'm all about people expanding their capacity to receive in the parent role, to where like we don't even have to like even say like it's a job that goes and 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 never stops. That's true for so many people. But if we only tell that story of it, we're also missing out on like some parents actually take really long breaks and their kids love them and they have great healthy relationships. And some of these kids are a lot less traumatized than other kids. Even everyone I know who grew up in a polyamorous household like that, where they had multiple trusted adults that they could rely on for like rides and food and love and cuddles and all the things, everyone has spoken about it super positively. I've never met somebody who grew up like that who wasn't just like, it was amazing and I will 1000% be doing that way for my family as well.
I think about that all the time and how like lovely and easy that would be. Not easy, but like it makes more sense to just have more hands on board. I do kind of think that it's still a job that never ends, because with it being like a little piece of your heart walking around outside, like that aspect never ends. Like, it's a relationship that's in your heart forever and something that is entwined in you, I think. But I agree that like the physical tasks of can definitely be sorted out. And God, I would love to be in like a poly family situation, just mostly because I know all the work of it from being a caretaker. So I'm like, yeah, some help would be excellent.
Yeah, well, I think the love never ends. And I think some of the job and some of the work is about, it's about providing the structure that you can go away and trust that the kid has everything they need. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can only compare it for my life with Mary. But I will say with Mary, when I go away on vacation, if I leave her with a cat sitter and I have paid them a good rate, I have given them the veterinary contact, I have set up the whole house for them. They know where everything is. We did like a meeting and they met Mary and we've had little video chats about where all the stuff is, and they know when the Amazon delivery is coming with the next batch of food, and they have my number, can text me anytime. There's a certain amount of work that goes into it. And then once I do go away on vacation, I don't really think about Mary. I don't. And I give myself a mental break from worrying about her. I truly release the responsibility of Mary to the cat sitter for those weeks. And when I come back, Mary is better than I have ever found her. Her belly on her fur has grown back in. She's thriving when I come back from these trips. Like, thriving. Think about how we came home. Well, I don't know about you. Think about how I came home from camp every summer. Brown as a berry, full of myself, having had the best time of my life, like, confident, singing new songs, like, knowing new culture. Like, my mom wasn't parenting me other than missing me and loving me for like 4 to 6 weeks.
That's what I'm talking about, though. The missing and loving. That's a lot. The missing can be intense. And I think that sometimes like when I go away from Casper, I mean, I'm so happy to be away from not happy, but I'm comfortable with it. But like, yeah, when I get sent a picture of him or something, like I bleed a little bit. I miss him so much. I'm like, oh, my baby. Like, the love never ends. And like, holding that kind of love I think it's just a forever thing. I don't think it goes away. Like, you might hear a song, you might see something on the street. Like, it's not something that I can personally run away from, nor would it be something that I would want to, but it just does take up space in my body. Like, it's not something
I'm not saying it ends. I'm saying the love continues. I'm saying the missing continues. I'm just reframing it for myself so that it's not work. And I'm questioning, why do I have to bleed in order to see a video of her and delight in her? Do I have to bleed? Or could I spend 1 month not bleeding and then come back and see her and start the bleeding again?
I don't know.
I think this might be a pleasure limit or like a receiving limit. Should we look at the cards, maybe?
I was trying to think, like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just an A to D moment, because I feel like it's pleasure. It's pure pleasure, but the pleasure takes up space too. So I think for me, my ultimate, just like, I like things in my life really simple and like really light, and I think when you have that type of love when I feel that love for anyone, whether it be you or it be Casper or it be my sisters or my family, it's that feeling of, it's the feeling of loving someone. It's a little bit scary, and continually holding the love for someone, like, really deeply. It's 95% pleasure, and then there is just always a part of how I feel it in my body where it's the pleasure limit. It can be overwhelming sometimes to feel the amount of love that I feel, and have it be that, sure, yeah, I could go to Greece, yeah, I could go to Costa Rica, I can do whatever I want with my life, but my heart really is always beating. Like, I can learn, it can beat for other things too, but no matter where I go, there's some things that I love so much that no matter the time, space, and distance, my heart is beating for that all the way over here.
It's so interesting. I'm genuinely just asking out of pure curiosity. When we used to talk about being long distance in our friendship, and I used to be like, I miss you so much, I want to hold you so bad, and you would be like, I don't know, man, it's pretty much the same for me. And there was just such like a clarity for you of it, where you're like, yeah, you're far away, but like, we got each other. You were like, it's fine. Like, I don't really notice a difference. Where does that meet this?
I think that's the consistency of it all. It's like it doesn't matter if I were to wake up in the same house of you, like if we did live together. Actually, that's a bad example, because if we lived in the same house, we would literally like be in each other's like forefront at all times. But if we were like to live in the same neighborhood, I wouldn't think of you any less than I think of you right now. The place that you take up in my heart is exactly the same.
So it's,
so
yeah.
How much would I love to squeeze and hold you? Yeah, that would be the juicy tenderness of things, but it really doesn't change how I feel.
I feel really strongly like I want to see the cards. They're like talking to me and sparking at me, and they're like, show.
Sorry, what?
Oh, do you want to show the cards that you pulled?
Oh, the cards! Okay, so the first card that I pulled, the top card, is the same card that I drew for myself last night. And it is, I let go of all expectations. Actually, this is not, I don't know if that's not the same card. Either that or I just didn't read the front of it last night and I only left. No, this is just a different card. So scratch what I said. This is our card and I did not have the same card last night. But it says, I let go of all expectations. And it has, this woman listening to a seashell. And it says, I flow freely and lovingly with life. I love myself. I know that only good awaits me at every turn.
I'm curious. I'm both curious what that means to you and curious what the other card says.
The other card says, I turn every experience into an opportunity. And it says, each problem has a solution. All experiences are opportunities for me to learn and grow. I am safe. These cards remind me of the moment that I had this week that I told you earlier about, where I was just sitting on the couch and listening to the piano play and looking around and looking at Casper on the couch across from me, and my spine was like so upright and aligned, and the thought kept coming through my head as my eyes were open looking at everything. All is well, all is well, all is well. And it just made me tear up and just like look at every little thing around me. I couldn't believe it. It was a lot to receive. That was a moment where I worked on receiving this week. I really received that moment.
You know, I think that this... Well, I'm thinking just in response to what you said that, like, this is the core work. Like, I think I've gotten used to thinking about money as something that, you know, I have to do certain actions in order to receive. Like, I have to, like, create it and, like, produce it and earn it and all these things. But really, like, the work for me personally of getting to a place where I have lots of money flowing in all the time and money is just, like, there is the mindset portion of it, for lack of a better term. Like, it's this what we're doing, navigating with each other, where we're just asking each other open-ended questions about, like, but could it be better? Could it even be better? Can we imagine it into being? Can we imagine it better? This is part of what, like, yeah, helps us receive on every level. I think it's the foundation. I really feel like when we shift the internal stuff, the external shifts very quickly and just matches it.
I was on Instagram and there was a quote of, gosh darn it, someone that's amazingly beautiful and inspiring. Maybe it will come to me as I'm saying it. And they were like, the one thing, I'm loving that. The one thing that my mother taught me that I will never forget is that everything happens on the inside before it happens on the outside. You have to make it be from the inside.
Yeah, I did want to say.
Sorry?
Continue.
She said that she could have been dropped on any planet and known how to survive there based on that. I keep feeling really strongly like I need to set intentional ceremony time every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day to stretch and dance and sing and hoop and pray and visualize what I want for my life. I feel like visualizing it is almost one of the most important parts of it. Like, I need to know what it looks like.
Yes.
If we all are creative beings and this abundance is at our fingertips and I can be receiving and just receive a harness just like that, I need to... Abundance isn't so easy for me. It's not my natural pattern. I'm breaking patterns here. We're both breaking patterns here. Everyone that's out here doing this shit is breaking patterns. And it is uncomfortable. So it's hard to even know, like, what it looks like. I'm, like, taking time to be delusional, like, with the desires that we have. Just laying them all out there in thought for the universe to play with and create gifts for us.
It's so important. I was just talking to my friend Care last night on the street, and they were like, they lead people in hypnosis sessions. And they said that some people are having a little bit of imagination trouble at the start, and so they give everybody this, like, 20-minute spiel where they're like, the whole world, race as a concept, money as a concept, the way we build things, the way we organize countries, all of the stuff was... and something someone imagined, and they had a really bad imagination. Like, these people that just, like, did this, like, they have shitty imaginations. We have to spend more time imagining what we're creating than hyperfixating on the shit that they did. And, yeah, it's also really goes back to, like, that yoga example where... we're actively directing our attention away from the receiving and the abundance when we hyperfixate on scarcity. Like, it's ignoring something that's present, but we don't have to create it. It's just there. It's just there. It's only for us to perceive and also for us to allow ourselves to imagine so that we can perceive it. Because if it has not been imagined, it's usually not yet perceivable.
Totally, dude. I just realized the other thing that I was talking about, thank you for bringing up that yoga class again, was one of the things that I started like saying that I didn't know why I was saying or what was going on. I was like, we need to allow ourselves to not be hard, to let the feeling inside of our hearts. That's where it is. We get hard right here. And we don't want to breathe. We don't want to let our chests rise and fall as we inhale and exhale. And all of a sudden, we're in this state where we're not receiving. And then we're in our heads, and we feel fearful, and we feel low self-confidence. But we can just bring the attention right back to that space and just help it. Give it a little guidance to be open. Keep our attention on it. And just don't quit on it. Allowing it to be awkward, allowing it to be weird, allowing it to feel funny. And just breathing into that experience. Also, a really great place to massage literally every day is right along the collarbone. Right underneath it.
Yes.
Right on top of it. Because we're going to get a lot of emotions stuck there. If we get hard in our chest, it's going to just like not be able to rise up and out. It's just going to get stuck.
I do just want to add, with the disability justice community, I really was thinking of us, disabled people, and our genius when you were sharing about being manic. Because I took this amazing workshop with Project Let's. And basically, it was called Crisis Response for Birth Workers. And the idea was, okay, so you're accompanying someone and they're in a mental health crisis. How do you define what a crisis is? How do you find them help that is not basically incarceration, like medical incarceration or whatever kind of incarceration? And how do you let them be the autonomous individual who leads the process and leads the way, even from their place of being in an altered state? And it was so mind-blowing, and it activated so much really, really, really deeply necessary stuff in me. And, like, one of the things that, like, I suffer over a lot is when I have this thought, like, we're so mentally unwell, or people are so mentally unwell, like, how will they find their way out? Like, how will we find our way out? Like, just the suffering of that is so painful. And disabled people ourselves hold the keys and hold the information and are literally screaming at everybody to listen to us. Please listen to us and don't incarcerate us. Like, we in and of ourselves have the clarity. Like, when somebody's manic, they were like, oh, what if, if they really are like smashing and destroying things? And the workshop leader was like, give them a baseball bat, grab an old TV, go out in the backyard and have them smash it. Like, get a bunch of paint and get a fucking canvas and have them go to town and paint the shit out of that canvas. Like, give them something to complete the urge of their cycle. Their body wants to complete it. They want to catch the ball, like, make the thing happen. And it was like going through all the different altered states that we can have and just being like, this is a way to be with someone in that state that is non-judgmental and non-carceral. And, like, they were like, of course, this can be coupled with healing modalities like Reiki to like check in with like helping them cleanse their energy and, like keep providing them with good food and like a safe house and like all of the things. But essentially, like, people need to be loved through these states. And we're so far away from that. And we're so divorced from that in ourselves too, that all I could think about when I heard you like say that you felt kind of like you were being too much when you were manic is just that, like, if I were with you when you were manic, I would be like, great. Shit, this is amazing. Jessie's in an altered state. Yes, it's going to mean that some interactions are going to be harder to have with her. So I would be like, oh, probably I wouldn't put her behind the wheel of a car and tell her to drive me somewhere on a map that we've never been before. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not something I would ask you to do. But
Yeah.
I would definitely ask you things about the angelic realm, ask you things about the departed, have a ceremony with you while you were in that state, like help channel things about your path and like your coming career moves, and like, yeah, give you a hula hoop and have you like stim and like figure shit out. Like there's a gift. There's a gift.
Oh, it's so beautiful. I wish that. Well, you'll definitely be with me when I'm manic again. Well, maybe not. It really doesn't happen that often.
We might be in an altered state together, and we might have to like help each other through an altered state together, and we might be given that altered state as a gift. You know, it's not just psychedelic plant medicine and giving birth and dying. There are many ways to experience altered states, and what we call mental illness, if we weren't pathologizing it and shaming it and making people feel so uncomfortable for having it, what can we imagine mental illness to bring? Mental illness, we can imagine it can bring a lot. Art, wisdom, magic.
I used to think about that all the time. And I guess the thought has kind of left my brain space as of recently. But yeah, I think it's really hard and really insensitive and also quite soul-killing to disregard anybody's story. Everyone has a story. Everyone has a perspective.
Right.
I was just thinking yesterday about the people that have hurt me most deeply in my life, and I was thinking about what the process of forgiving them has and will continue to look like. And something that I found in that process was just that I'm so high. I just totally lost my train of thought. I was talking about mental illness and
people who have hurt you in your life.
Oh, and the people that have hurt me in my life and forgiving them and what that looks like. Wow, I'm really losing my train of thought, but I really wish that I had it. Oh, it's because I'm stoned for the first time in a really long time. I don't know. I really lost that train of thought. It was a really beautiful thought. I'm really sad about that.
It's coming back to you.
Well, not really sad about it, but
it's coming. It's coming. It's here. It's arriving. What is going on?
Something just sounded like it was fluttering in my kitchen. I'm scared to walk back there. But I'm also still trying to... And then also people came down the stairs.
Can I say one more thing about the disability justice?
I can't remember. Let's move on. We're gonna have to cut that.
No, I think we should leave it. I definitely think we should leave it. It's perfect.
Okay. Well, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, with the disability justice stuff, they also talked about how. Wow, now I'm gonna lose my thread. Oh, okay. I remember it. They talked about how the like different phenomena that are kind of somewhat, maybe a little bit more common for people who are in altered states. Like, for example, paranoia. That's like one of the like documented, paranoia. It's like pathologized and all this stuff. They were like, to what extent can we potentially maybe imagine that people who are experiencing paranoia are attuned to the surveillance culture that we genuinely, truly, really do live in. Like, Alexa listens to everything we say, and like, we are in a surveillance culture. We are, and more so every day. And that's just a bit of information that most like neurotypical people or people who are not in altered states, we kind of just have to actively tune it out sometimes. And just, And then what if they're just feeling that fully? And they were naming all these different like states and things. And they were like, usually the root of what someone is experiencing when they're in an altered state, the root is in reality. And so when you say everyone has a story, that's what that makes me think of, is that like at some point you are hearing their real experience. It's very alienating, I think, for us when we're in altered states to have people sort of act like it's not real.
Yeah. I remember the thing I was gonna say. When it comes to like forgiving people that have really hurt me, I have to remember that like this is just a little piece of their story. They have a whole story where they are the super fucking hero in a lot of people's stories. And it would just be sad for my experience if I were to only understand them as like the villain. True, they may have hurt me. They may have taught me a lesson with some good old hard love or whatever. But I'm really just only hurting myself if I'm going to judge them based solely off that. It comes back to gratitude heals. Even the really hard shit. It teaches a lesson. Yeah, it just comes back to like everyone is really deep, really fascinating, has bundles to teach. It's really so sad that we discredit so many minds. And I mean, I don't want to get too deep into it right here, but the ways in which those thoughts have been constructed and the types of people that are in power that are putting those thoughts into play with actions that really oppress and marginalize many, many different people, except for a very, very specific chunk. We're all so beautiful. It makes me think of like beauty standards and how fucked up they are. How everyone's face is just so different and like complex and like it's just right there. The beauty is right there. It's not something that needs to be chased with like a million different fucking ads of you need this cream and that and whatever. And I get so drawn into it, dude. I get so aesthetically self-conscious sometimes. I want these wrinkles to go away. I want my hair to be thicker back here. I want my nose to be smaller. I want more collagen in my cheeks. And it's just like, what for? What for? Why do I want that? Don't I just really just want to be healthy? I just want to feel healthy and strong. The other thing is, it's hard because I want people to like me, right? And in the society that we're in, like, attractive, sexy, it's an easier shoe-in for being liked.
Mm-hmm.
But there's those people that are, like, the silent kind of people that are in the room, and they're just kind of, like, watching everything. and they're cool. Those people seem to not care so much about a lot of stuff. And I think that's why they're silent a lot of the time, because people are talking about bullshit that they don't care about. They're just observing human nature.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's easy to think about corrupt politicians and, you know, straight up people with, like, real colonizer patterning, colonizer energy, but it's also, it's everywhere. I mean, in therapy this morning, I had to process, you know, not feeling, like, in some pieces, not feeling sometimes like I belong in my queer community, because queers tend to isolate ourselves as a trauma response, and then kind of, it's easy, especially I feel like between, like, in your 20s as a queer, I feel like it's very easy to kind of get into this zone where, like, you really only want to hang out with queer people. And you're looking for markers. I had this experience where I was looking for markers of queerness in other people so that I would know that I was safe and that I had some kind of common language with them. And starting to really feel for a while actually alienated from people who weren't giving me those signals. And then had to rein the fuck in on that and be like, whoa, 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 whoa. I am open to all people. But it's amazing that, like, I was the most closed off when I followed the patterning of my queer community. I was less closed off before I kind of, like, became indoctrinated in that methodology. And I understand that it's a self-protective mechanism, but we can all do a lot better even within marginalized groups. In terms of, like, it's not about what somebody's wearing, what somebody wears, or what they do with their hair does not make them queer or not queer. Like, they don't have to be cool by your standards or look anything like anybody you've ever met for them to be valid and for them to be welcome in these spaces. This is what these spaces are for.
So beautiful, so accurate. And I understand the fear, right? I mean, especially talking about queer community. That's a community that has faced brutality. So it's really only human nature to want to seek out the safe, but I do think that you evolve to a point where you can feel the safe underneath what someone is wearing, or even potentially what someone is saying, you know, and that safe, it's a feeling instead of a visualizing.
100%. And to me, that's what, like, this, you know, traveling years that we have coming up where we're more, like, free to travel. For me, it's a lot about that. It's like just meeting people, just straight up people. Oh, this jumped out.
I'm so excited for our futures right now.
Why is there a melted M&M?
On your butt!
This one wasn't on my butt, but it's like, did my butt melt it? I don't know. I don't know, bro. Oh my God, this is a couch of wonderment today. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
I don't want to end, but I feel like we have to.
We do have to end soon. Why do you say that, though? Do you have places to be?
No, not at all. I mean, I might go to karaoke. I don't know, but not like urgent. But I just, I feel like we have ended the amount of time segment that way past how much we decided to record.
We have a lot of content. Well, it's good. We said we wanted extra because we didn't record 2 weeks ago.
I know, but it's great. What I'm saying is, like, it's a good time probably to wrap on this, but if you wanted to keep talking a few minutes after, I could totally keep talking.
Okay, we should maybe, like, wrap up.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So okay. I did want to pull a card for us from the Earth Magic deck. Shout out to Tachi! First official shout out to Tachi on the pod! We got to get her on ASAP. I should literally invite her to our next recording. Why don't I? We talk about it. Okay, so I was going to pull a card, but then one literally jumped out of the deck.
Cool. does it say?
It's a terrible glare from the ring light.
It's the glare and it's a little bit lake. No way.
Wow.
Lake Cillian?
Stillness.
Lake stillness. Oh, goodness.
Okay, for people who are just listening, it's a really beautiful, almost Monet-like sort of dawn atmosphere with some willow trees draping down and like a little canoe in the lake and just lots of really luscious, juicy, like sumptuous flowers all around the shore. Stillness. Ooh, check out the manicure. Hey.
Oh, it's really hard to see, but it looks like lilac.
It's a white cat sticker. I'll show it to you when we have better quality. And then this is like a holographic sparkle.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm so excited. Yeah, I can see
Well, lake is a pretty obvious one for us. I'm going to say it's not going to need a lot of interpretation. Lake, stillness. The subdued pastels of the early morning light quietly announce that the night is over and the sun is rising. The lake itself hasn't awakened from its rest and remains still and undisturbed. It welcomes the coming day, ready to respond with grace and fluidity to whatever currents and movements appear in its belly or upon its skin. Oh, hell yeah, ecosexuality! The surrounding vegetation thrives from the abundant water near the shoreline, and the unoccupied boat lies in wait for its next passenger. All is at rest in this scene. It's in the deep, internal stillness that we find our being and come to know that we are intimately united with all of creation. To achieve this mindset, we must slow down once in a while and get away from the surroundings that interfere and distract our inner tranquility. When we do so, this profound stillness is available at all times, regardless of the environment. We can experience this sensation with steady, conscious breathing, or we can simply pause for a few moments and be still. And the message of the card is, the tempo of life these days has sped up considerably, and there seems to be no end to this quickening pace. Immersed as we are in the technological whirlpool, there seems no escape. However, there is no need to be a prisoner to the hurry-up syndrome, nor is there a need to feel trapped by the awareness of the collective intensities that massive numbers of humans are experiencing these days. No matter if the noise is from your environment or your seemingly nonstop thinking, it is critical for you to seek stillness. Find it in your world, whether it is a special place in your home or a place in nature that is far from human-made noise. Of particular importance is finding it inside yourself, which can be made easier by being in a quiet place in a natural setting. Doing so not only relaxes your mind, but also heightens your awareness and your senses.
Thank you, Tati and Jen.
Thank you, Tachi and Stephen D. Farmer and Jesse. Thank you to my father guide. Thank you to my mother guide. Thank you to Clear Lake Guide. Thank you to Lake Guide. Thank you to Stillness Guide. And on that note, I think we can wrap.
Let's wrap.
Thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe. If you want to stay in touch with Jem, subscribe to my email list on rainbowdoulaberlin.com. That's rainbowdoula berlin.com. And follow me on Instagram at gem_rainbow_healing.
To stay in touch with Jess, please go to roottwinkle.com. That's ROOTWINKLE.com.